heightism, hell, like if I was 6'2", 6'3", 230 pounds, I'd probably be in the WWE already.
Welcome to CCW Talks. I am Cecil Sharp, your media director, here in the studio with the current Project Revolution Cruiserweight Champion, the current Phoenix Professional Wrestling Cruiserweight Champion, former Coastal Championship Wrestling Southeastern Champion, and one of the most beloved wrestlers in CCW history, Mr. Jake St. Patrick. How are you, Jake?
Oh, man, that was a great intro. Thank you. I'm doing really good, man. How about yourself? You doing all right?
We're doing great. You know, we're stuck in our homes still for hopefully another couple of weeks, but we're rearing to go here at CCW, trying to get as much content out to all of our fans. How are you up there?
Well, I'm a pretty boring guy, so I've been doing what I always do. Work, eat, sleep, watch wrestling, work, eat, sleep, rinse, and repeat.
Love it. Love it. Jake, you were a longtime CCW mainstay, but recently you worked some matches for Gabe Sapolsky and Evolve. Can you take me through that experience? How was it?
Oh, man. Well, first off, you have to do a tryout match in front of Gabe Sapolsky and, other guys. I've done my tryout matches in front of guys like Robbie Brookside, Evan Bourne, or Matt Seidel, whichever one you want to call him. I've done my matches in front of Walter, the current WWE United Kingdom champion.
Love Walter, yeah.
Thatcher.
Wow.
Like, I've been doing these practice matches in front of those guys, and I've been doing this wrestling thing for a little while. So in the beginning, if I would have done that, I probably would have been a nervous wreck. But since I've been at it for quite a while, those nerves, they hit you right before you go out. But once that bell rings, it's like, everything else doesn't matter.
Yeah, absolutely. The repetition that you've had through the years, I'm sure helps a lot. But still a little bit of nerves, or you just focus on the ring and do your thing when you're in front of Timothy Thatcher and Walter and Gabe Sapolsky.
Oh no, those are they're definitely going to be nerves. Even if you're not in front of them, even if you're in front of a crowd that you've known, your life, even if you're in front of your family, you're still going to have those butterflies, those jitters, and those nerves. But again, once you've done this so many times and it's just become like ritual or normal. Again, once that bell rings, all the nerves, or as a matter of fact, even once your entrance music hits, once that entrance music hits, it's like it's like tunnel vision. You can't see anything else but what you're supposed to do, and it's no feeling like it. It's almost undescribable, man.
Yeah, absolutely, and of course, we want to watch you in Coastal Championship Wrestling, and we want you here. But it's just awesome to hear, someone who's excelling and going farther as it evolved now with its relationship with the WWE. There's no ceiling to where it could go. So obviously, the Coastal Championship Wrestling Executive Committee and everyone here, we're excited for you. So hopefully to see you in more shows. I know that you. After the practice matches, you were on a main show card, so I guess the sky's the limit.
Yeah, man. Again, I was even shocked to even get picked, just because at that time when they do the matches, they literally tell everyone, okay, we're going to put you in a dark match, or we're going to put you on the show, or we're going to put you on the show, and I was standing right in front of him, and as he said, okay, everybody, you guys, if your name wasn't called, better luck next time, for lack of a better term. But then as I was getting up, he told me to stay right there. And when he said it, I was like, okay, hold up. He was like, yeah, I got something for you. And right then and there, my heart just started beating so fast. And I was like, oh, man, finally, finally, I got it. And it was against a great competitor named Pat Monix, who's been on the independent scene for a little under 10 years. And man, is that guy good?
Yeah, working with those with high caliber opponents is the goal, and putting on great matches and something that you've been doing in Coastal Championship Wrestling for years. So it's wonderful to hear. Jake, you're kind of out there in Illinois, and you're kind of stamping a new ground for Coastal Championship Wrestling as well, as you kind of wear our flag proudly. Tell us a little bit about the current state of wrestling in the Chicagoland area.
Well, before the quarantine,
Of course.
there were shows literally every week. I mean, there's so many promotions out here. You got Project Revolution Wrestling, you got Chicago Style Wrestling, you got Global Pro Wrestling, Dynamic Wrestling Alliance, Wrestle League, Galley Lucha, Berwyn Championship Wrestling. There's so many promotions up here that it's ridiculous. And then you have 01 USA, which is further south in Illinois. You got IPW, you got Rocket Pro Wrestling. There's just so much out there to where if you're a fan in any part of Illinois, you're going to have a wrestling promotion somewhere near you, which is really good because I'm willing to travel any and everywhere, but there's just so many, it's so hard to, be able to work for all of them.
Sure, that's a good problem to have, especially some of your caliber, to be able to work as many promotions as possible. And talking about promotions, Jake, we're going to take a second to pay some bills.
Boca Stone Design will create the kitchen or bathroom of your dreams. Countertops of all types, granite, quartz, porcelain, and more. Cabinets and tile with amazing quality and service with affordable pricing. Call now for a free estimate, 561-362-2085. Licensed, bonded, and insured. Remember, Boca Stone Design, 3601 North Dixie Highway, Boca Raton, Florida, 33431. Call 561-362-2085.
Pro wrestling in 2020 is very different from when you started. What are your thoughts? What are your thoughts about the current state of professional wrestling, independent and otherwise?
Pro wrestling is going to do pretty much what everything else does around the world, and that is evolve. It's going to only get better from here. Back in the day, you had the basic style where, a simple vertical suplex could be a finisher. Now, a basic vertical suplex, that's an opening part of a match. So, look how wrestling has evolved from then to now. And it's only just going to evolve even more. So for those guys who are, wrestling in independence or still training or whatever, you got to keep up with the times because time waits for no man, and wrestling is going to continue to evolve. And if you don't evolve with it, it's going to pass you by.
Yeah, it's funny you mentioned that. We were just looking through some of the Coastal Championship Wrestling classic matches, and there's a Jake Roberts versus the Tokyo Monster Cajegas match, and the realization is the DDT as a finish is unbelievable. Or Dustin Rhodes, a bulldog, when he was the CCW World Heavyweight Champion, a bulldog is a finish. You're done with a bulldog or your DDT, and now it's going to take a lot more than that in the current state of wrestling.
Yeah, I mean, you have certain superstars. For example, Alexa Bliss, her finish is the DDT. And, it's really how you sell it and how you deliver it. If you deliver it and it looks vicious and you sell it to make it look vicious, which is what it's all about in the first place, then, a DDT could be a finish. A bulldog could be a finish. It's all about the execution of the move. Like, Mick Foley had told me this before. He said, it's not about the moves. The people don't care about the move. It's about the person doing the move. So you can have a random mojo, give a guy a chop to the chest. And, of course, you're going to hear the woo because of Ric Flair.
Right.
So people don't care about the chop. They care about the person doing it. So every time someone chops, you're going to hear a woo. Someone's going to remember Ric Flair. So Ric Flair is in wrestling for eternity simply because of a chop to the chest.
Yeah, and you're exactly right. You hear the woos with the chop, and then even someone like me, when I see a DDT, I think of Jake Roberts, and when I see Randy Orton hit a RKO, I actually still think of Diamond Dallas Page. Shows how old I am. But you those moves are iconic, and it's if you look at the newer crop of finishers, there's a lot of knees to the back of the head. There's a lot of stuff that are still pretty simple, but a lot of times it's going to take a few more to end a bigger match.
Yeah. And again, that just goes with the evolution of wrestling. You know, you want to tell that story. You know, again, back in the day, um, it would be one and done. You hit one finisher, that's it. But again, once wrestling started to evolve, where guys were kicking out of finishers, for example, no one kicked out of a Hogan leg drop.
Right.
You know, until
WrestleMania 8.
exactly. You know, and then you have, you know, Austin and Stone Cold.
Right. No, and it makes it memorable. Like no one had kicked out of it for years. So when Sid Vicious unfortunately had to kick out of it at WrestleMania 8, it's memorable forever. And when The Rock kicked out of the stunner was 15, right? WrestleMania 15.
Yep. I mean, if you having guys now who are getting 4 F5s and 9 Claypools and they're still kicking out, but again, that's the story that they're trying to tell.
Sure.
Sometimes
CCW
it works, sometimes it doesn't.
Right. It's like we're saying, it's the evolution of professional wrestling, and you know where is that going in 5 years? You know, we saw some cinematic matches at WrestleMania to mixed reviews, mostly positive reviews. Where do you see wrestling in 5 years in that regard?
Well, it really depends because you have the independent circuit, and then you have, you know, your AEW, your Ring of Honor, your WWE, your New Japan, your Impact. Those companies who have a little bit more money than an independent wrestling promotion. So those promotions, yeah, they could definitely do the cinematic matches, like the Boneyard match or the Firefly Funhouse match or whatever. But, you know, for those independent promotions, you know, it's doable. It's very doable. And, you know, you don't have to have the highest budget in the world. But of course, if you want those, you know, those camera angles, those pyrotechnics, all of that extra stuff, yeah, it's going to take a pretty penny to do. Sure. But again, it's just going to evolve. I'm not going to say that every match or every show is going to have one of those cinematic things. This literally, I believe that it was pulled out of a hat simply because of the circumstances.
Right. Yeah, it was definitely made out of circumstance.
But again, they, you know, the cinematic match, the Boneyard match, the Firefly Funhouse match, they delivered. They told the story that they needed to tell. And that's really what, you know, pro wrestling is all about. It's all about telling a story.
Excellent point, Jake. And before we kind of talk about your aspirations in wrestling training, let's talk briefly about CCW Training Facility.
Bugs Moran, the man of the land here. I used to be just a hobo, but now I'm a hobo with a wrestling championship, and that's all because of CCW. Come join us at CCW Training Facility. It is the longest running professional wrestling school and promotion in Florida. Located in sunny Fort Lauderdale, training available for professional wrestlers, managers, referees, announcers, valets, and much, much more. Call or text 954-548-5779 to start your wrestling journey. As head trainer Pablo Marquez says, you don't have to be great to start, but you have to start to be great. Again, call 954-548-5779.
Yeah, I agree 100%. CCW head trainer, the legend, Pablo Marquez, he had told us that you're good enough to be a head trainer at your own school one day. It's no secret that you've helped to train many of the newer wrestlers at the CCW Training Facility. Is that something that you think about pursuing in the future?
Oh, absolutely. I love this business. I've loved wrestling since I was 5 years old, and that love has never went away. So, you know, if I want to give back, which I really want to do, of course, now, when I say I'll open my own school, maybe not. It really just depends on the circumstances. What I really want to do is I really want to coach for CCW for, you know, until my time has come to where I can't coach anymore.
Yeah, no, and I'm sure you're with open arms. That would be awarded to you. What would you give the advice of a new professional wrestler they're listening to right now? They want to start tomorrow. What is the advice you would give them today?
Have heart, have no fear. Be willing to just go out and give it your all. Be willing to invest into yourself. If you don't invest into yourself, no one else will. So that would probably be the biggest thing I can tell anyone is invest into yourself. Invest the time, invest the effort, invest the practice, the basics, the rolls, the running the ropes, the bumps. Practice the basics, because again, if you don't invest into that, you won't invest into yourself. And if you don't invest into yourself, which one of these fans are going to invest into you? Which one of these promoters are going to invest into you? You have to invest into yourself in order for anyone else to invest into you.
Yeah, wonderful point. You know, the amount of time and work that you put into yourself, your body, and your training will then pay dividends. So you need to have as much respect for yourself as you expect promoters to have for you. That's an excellent point, Jake.
Absolutely.
We love wrestling road stories here at CCW Talks. Jake, you got to give me one. Give me a good wrestling road story.
Oh man, okay. Actually, it's not really a road story. It's more of a pick a guy up from the airport story.
Great, give it to us.
So, me and another wrestler, we were supposed to pick up the Brooklyn Brawler, former WWE guy. So we go to pick him up, and we're looking for him. And again, you know, we're picturing the Brooklyn Brawler as the guy that we saw in the 90s, you know, kind of chubby, kind of husky, you know, rough around the edges. And we don't see that guy. So we pull up and we're like, wait, is that him? Nah, that can't be him. This guy is jacked. I mean, oh my God, looks almost nothing like the Brooklyn Brawler from the 90s that we
sure.
And he gets in the car, and, you know, he has his New York accent. What's up, fellas? You know, how you doing? And we're just like, oh my God, it's the Brooklyn Brawler. And I've been around guys that have been in the WWE, so I don't get too starstruck. But the other gentleman, the other wrestler that I was with, he got a little starstruck. And one of the stories that he tells is a story that when he was with Roddy Piper. And they do a show in this little small town. And, you know, after the show, you know, they go out for a couple of drinks to a bar or whatever in the middle of nowhere. So they find this little bar, you know, they park, and Brawler is like, hey, there's a lot of motorcycles out here. You know, that means motorcycle gang's probably here. Might not want to pick this spot. And, you know, Piper's like, nah, it's cool. Let's go in. So they go in, and they order themselves drinks. And I guess one of the guys from the motorcycle gang, and I'm sure Brooklyn Brawler can tell the story better than I can, but one of the guys in the motorcycle club or gang or whatever you want to call it comes up to the guys, and, you know, he's, you know, picking at them and whatnot, and then he takes Piper's drink, takes it, puts it in his mouth, spews it around, and then spits it back into the shot glass.
Oh no!
And what Piper does, what I was expecting was Piper was gonna, you know, lay waste to this guy. He doesn't, you know, Piper, he doesn't care if there's 20, 30 guys. He's gonna lay waste to him. That's what I'm thinking. The complete opposite happens. Piper takes the shot glass, drinks it, the whole thing, shakes the guy's hand and say, hey, Roddy, nice to meet you. Rest of the night, motorcycle gang buys those guys every drink that they could want.
That's unbelievable. Yeah, as soon as they thought they had the answer, he changed the question on them. That's unbelievable.
Yep. and Brawler said that was Piper for you. He lived the gimmick. As soon as you think you got all the answers, I changed the questions. And it would have been so great to meet Roddy Piper. God rest his soul.
Yeah, that would be a dream of mine as well. It would be unbelievable. But it is great that you have met these guys like the Brooklyn Brawler, and, you know, they have a more personal relationship, knowing that, you know, you're an accomplished wrestler as well. So, any other wrestling stories with any wrestlers coming into town for CCW?
Oh man, so there's another road story that I have. It was me, Coach Pablo, Johnny Walker, and we were all going to this Legends show in Augusta, Georgia. Now, I see on the flyer, it's going to be the Nasty Boys, Jimmy Hart, Lex Luger, Ted DiBiase, all those guys. And from my experiences, all those guys aren't going to be there. You know, that's just to promote the show. That's just to get the guys there. They're not really going to show up. I was sadly mistaken. Bushwhacker Luke, Lex Luger, $1 Million Man Ted DiBiase, Eric Bischoff, Road Warrior Animal, Jimmy Hart, the Nasty Boys, Ricky the Dragon Steamboat, Mick Foley, all of these guys showed up and were there, and I'm just like, oh my God, I used to watch all of like you guys were the first guys I saw watching wrestling, and you're standing here in front of it was unbelievable. And that day it was supposed to be a battle royal. Glacier was like the main guy that was supposed to be in it. Ray Lloyd, how you doing?
Yeah, Ray Lloyd, who had just come down for the soldier benefits show for CCW.
Yes, sir. Good, very good guy. Very knowledgeable. So he's in the battle royal. So me and Johnny Walker were like, oh, okay, so we're going to be in the battle royal too. No, they put me in the match with the Tokyo Monster, the former NWA champion, Cahagas.
Wow.
And yeah, that was my reaction. Wow, like, are you serious? I get Cahagas tonight? And they're like, yeah. So he comes up, no paint on his face. Was it? Hey, how you doing? We're working together. Yeah. All right, let me put my face on. We'll talk. And the entire time, like, yeah, I'm in the match with Cahagas. Like, oh my God. And then they say, yeah, so we're gonna give you a manager since he has the Colonel with him. I'm like, okay, who's my manager? They say, Steamboat. I'm sorry, say that again. Who? They say, yeah, Ricky Steamboat.
Wow.
I say, Ricky the Dragon Steamboat. They say, yeah. WWE Hall of Famer Ricky the Dragon Steamboat. They say, yeah. The guy who wrestled at WrestleMania 3, the Macho Man Randy Savage, Ricky the Dragon Steamboat. They're like, yes. My knees started to shake. I was like, that was the most nervous I've probably ever been in my life. To see Ricky the Dragon Steamboat managing me. So we have the match. Match goes great. I get the 1-2-3 over Cahagas. Couldn't believe it.
Wow.
And after the match, Ricky Steamboat comes back and he says I did good. But of course, you know, the veterans being the veterans, they're going to definitely point out what you did wrong, which I needed it. I said, please tell me everything I did wrong so I can correct it. And he talked to me for about 15, 20 minutes, just, you know, talking about, you know, you could do this instead of doing this. You could do that. More of this, less of that. And then he talked about, you know, when he did it. And it was just, man, it was an unbelievable feeling, man. No other feeling like that.
Yeah, it sounds amazing. You know, you're wrestling a legend and you're beating a legend and then you're being managed by a legend. It's unbelievable, Jake. It's really great. Jake, to come back to Coastal Championship Wrestling, Bugs Moran is a newly crowned Southeastern champion. That's a belt that you had held before. Is that something that you're having your sights on, or are you thinking more in a CCW World Heavyweight Championship run, a belt that has eluded you?
You know what? I've had matches with Bugs Moran before, and that guy has gotten nothing but better and better within each match he has had. So kudos and hats off to Bugs Moran. Now, when I do make my CCW return, and I will, whatever opportunities are in front of me, I'm going to seize them. So whether it's the CCW Southeastern Championship or the CCW World Heavyweight Championship, either or, even if it's a CCW Tag Team Championship, I'm going for it all. You know, I'm a guy who thrives to be at the top, wants to be at the top, needs to be at the top. So I'm going to do whatever it takes to get to the top. And whoever I have to wrestle, whoever I have to go through to get there, then that's just what it's going to have to be.
That's so it's great that you mentioned that. Of course, you know, there's the potential Coastal Championship Wrestling Tag Team Wrestling Tournament for Matt Stryker and Will Austin's Tag Team Championship gold. So maybe Jake St. Patrick finds a partner and enters. We'll see. I think that would be a wonderful way to make a return. Or if not, of course, Agony as the new world champion. He just defeated Stryker Ramirez. I can see Jake St. Patrick and Agony. That's an amazing match. Hopefully that we get to see down the line.
Absolutely. I would love to have a match with Agony.
Yeah, absolutely. Jake, your dream match right now, if you have anybody alive, they can be signed to a major promotion. They can add, they don't have to be. Who right now would you love to step in the ring with tomorrow?
Man, that's a tough one. You know what? There's one name that pops out into my head. And if it's anyone in the absolute entire world of professional wrestling, I'm going to have to say Adam Cole, baby.
That's a great one. Yeah, Adam Cole is at the top of his game. You know, many consider him the top champion within ring work. So I think that'd be an amazing match for you guys.
Yes, I would love to step in the ring with that guy. I know he has so much knowledge that he has gotten not only from before going to WWE, but now that he has, you know, guys like Triple H in his ear, Shawn Michaels in his ear, you know, guys like that who are Hall of Famers, who are legends in the business, who are in his ear constantly every day, just picking their brain. I would love to get in a match with him and pick his.
Yeah, wonderful. Jake, this is a question that it comes from a conversation that we had with former Southeastern champion Pharaoh Johnson. Being an African American in professional wrestling, I mean, it used to be obviously very different than its current state, maybe not obviously, but Pharaoh still decrees that racism exists in the world of professional wrestling. What are your thoughts?
Ooh, that's one of those rough ones.
They're not all easy, Jake.
They're not all easy. I will say this, because, you know, I'm going to keep it 100. I'm going to keep it real because that's what I do. Yeah, there is. Whether it's blatant, unintentional, or intentional, yeah, there is. But there's all kinds of isms. You know, there's racism, there's sexism, heightism. Hell, like if I was 6'2", 6'3", 230 pounds, I'd probably be in the WWE already. But since I'm 5'6", 167 pounds, you know, it's gonna take a lot for me, you know, to make it on the big screen than it would for a guy who's a bigger size, like an Undertaker or a Kane or a Braun Strowman or a Goldberg or Roman Reigns.
Sure.
So I will say I will agree with Pharaoh in that and saying, yeah, there is. But that's everywhere. That's in every aspect. That's in every sport. That's in every genre of life. You're gonna get it. It's just the way of the world. We don't have to accept it, but at the same time, some people have those ideals of yesteryear, and some people want to move forward past that. And as long as we have two sides to that coin, there will always be those isms in not only the professional wrestling, but even outside, even in the corporate world, in the business, in any business, you're going to see it. It's unfortunate, but that's just the way it is.
Yeah, and that's a very honest answer of you, a very fair answer. You hit on a point as well about, you know, size. Today is the era of smaller guys. You mentioned your dream matches with Adam Cole. Adam Cole can't be more than 5'7", 200 pounds, 190 pounds. Do you feel?
I stood next to him. He's about 5'8", 5'9".
He's 5'8". Okay, 5'8", 5'9". I mean, you have to also feel that there's a very big positive movement about smaller guys winning world titles as well these days.
Absolutely. You know, Daniel Bryan is the first name that pops up into my head. Our public, you know, Rey Mysterio, same thing. Those two guys are like the head honchos of the small guys. You know, Rey Mysterio can't be more than 5'5", 170 pounds, maybe 180 pounds because he's a bit muscular. Daniel Bryan can't be more than 5'7", 5'8", 180 pounds, soaking wet maybe. Those guys are definitely the pillars of the small guy era, to where, you know, they've won, you know, the biggest title of them all in WWE. You know, so that definitely gives guys like me, guys like Adam Cole, Seth Rollins, AJ Styles, we're smaller guys. You know, we're not 6 feet, 300 pounds of nothing. You know, we're smaller guys, so we have to use our size and our speed and our technique to our advantage, as opposed to pure strength from a big guy.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know, your ring work speaks for itself. Obviously, you know, you consider yourself a smaller guy, but the things that you do, you know, and I'm sure we'll have some, if you're watching this on YouTube, you're going to see some of the things that Jake can do. Sometimes an audience responds to that much better than, you know, a big power slam or you know, 10 power slams and 10 clotheslines in a match. So.
Yeah, definitely. Another thing that I've learned from many guys, you know, whether they be guys in the independent circuits, whether the guys be WWE Hall of Famers, I've heard it from all of them. Know your audience and work your audience. They're going to tell you whether they like something or whether they don't like something. And the audience, especially today, they're very vocal about if they like something or if they don't like it. They will chant, "This match sucks," if they don't like it.
Right.
Or they will chant, "This is awesome," if they do like it. So you just got to know your crowd, and you got to work that crowd to the best of your ability. And, you know, sometimes that takes time for some guys. Sometimes it's at the snap of a finger. They just get it. You know, it took a while for me to learn. I would say it took me about a few years to kind of sort of figure out, you know, how to work the audience. I still haven't got it, you know, down pat to where it's, you know, second nature. But yeah, definitely know how to work your audience, whether you're a big guy, whether you're a small guy. Use all of your strengths to your advantages. Hell, even use your weakness to your advantages. Get your weakness exposed so the crowd can get behind you, or the crowd can cheer or boo you. You know, again, it's all a part of the expressions and the mannerisms, the body language. You want the audience to feel what you feel. So they have to resonate with that. They have to relate to how you're feeling. Or if you're like, let's say you're the bad guy. Some fans will relate to the bad guy more than they relate to the good guy. They relate to the guy who's kicking a mud hole in the guy in the corner as opposed to the guy getting the mud hole kicked in him. So again, it's just resonate with the fans.
Yeah, 100%. I think you made an excellent point about exposing not just your strengths, but sometimes your weakness, and let that play into the matches. That's a very interesting observation as well, Jake. Jake St. Patrick, this has been wonderful. I know we're going to do it again ASAP because you know you have so much insight, and as you're growing into your career, tell me, where can we find Jake St. Patrick on social media?
Instagram, you can find me at Jake_St. Patrick. Facebook, just Jake St. Patrick. Twitter at Bangarang Jake. That's BANGARANG Jake. Again, Instagram, Jake_St. Patrick. Facebook, Jake St. Patrick. Twitter at Bangarang Jake. You can find my content all on my YouTube channel. Please go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Most of my matches are on there. A few of my matches aren't on there. I'm working on uploading as many matches and as much content as I possibly can, especially now that we have this quarantine going on. I have a lot more time on my hands.
Absolutely.
So, look forward to more Jake St. Patrick content coming soon.
Awesome. And of course, you can find Jake at Coastal Championship Wrestling, which, you guys know where the YouTube is and the Instagram, and you hit our subscribe button as well. But definitely, we can't wait to see Jake, hopefully, at one of our upcoming shows, our next show being Summer Glory, which is June 6, 2020. We'll see how this quarantine plays out, but as of right now, that's a big show, and we're putting a card together now, and we're really excited to see where that's going. And anytime you're up in Chicago, you just need to follow Jake on his social media, and I'm sure you'll find some great Jake St. Patrick matches. Jake, I'll be seeing you soon.
Oh wait, Summer Glory, June 6th. Might have to put that into my calendar.
Absolutely.
Well, sir, it was a pleasure speaking with you today. Definitely look forward to doing more of these in the future.
Awesome. Thanks, Jake.
Yes, sir.